Good afternoon, everyone. We'll get started.
It's only 3:50.
I, Cynthia Luzak, duly elected county clerk for the county of Bay, and by the power vested in me by my election to this office, do hereby call this organizational meeting of the Bay County Board of Commissioners into session this second day of January 2019. Would everyone please answer to the roll call for the record, please? Commissioner Durancheck.
Here.
Krieger.
Yes.
Bigot.
Here.
Coonan.
Here.
Herrick.
Here.
Ryder.
Here.
And Lutz.
Here.
All members are present this afternoon. We will next have our invocation and pledge of allegiance, and then I'd ask that you remain standing. We'll do the oath, and we'll have you gentlemen sign our book. Be sworn in right from the get-go. So please stand. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, your generous goodness comes to us anew every day by the work of your Holy Spirit. Lead us to acknowledge your goodness and give thanks for your benefits, Lord. We ask that you guide this board today as they select their officers for the new year and give them the courage of their own convictions so that they can work for the common good of all. May your divine providence guide our county and bring dignity, prosperity, and respect to every citizen in this community. Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I never followed directions.
It isn't that much higher.
No, it's not. It's not a long ways down for me.
This is the official part. Please raise your right hands, repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of Bay County Commissioner
of Bay County Commissioner
according to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Need signatures, please?
Shall we file around?
I'll just pass the book around. And you have a bad spot.
So, did you actually get it working?
Yeah.
How's it work?
Here. Okay, thank you.
Put some blue styrofoam on the floor. Oh, man. Well,
The light, it's hard to see that line. Someday.
My fingers in the way.
There's one with the tape.
Yeah. 33 plus.
That's what happens when you do work when you're retired.
I almost had to call that first one.
Oh,
Are you guys gonna go south?
It's close.
Yeah.
What dates?
We're going to Mexico.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
19th for this month. And then we're going to go south in end of March. Early April. Oh, yeah. So,
That's about 10
yeah.
Our first order of business today will be the appointment of the county clerk as the temporary chairperson to conduct the election of officers for the year of 2019. Would someone so move?
So moved.
Support?
Support. Moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Say nay. Motion carries. We'll now elect our chairperson for the year 2019. Nominations are now in order for the office of chairperson. Do I have any nominations from the floor? Commissioner Herrick?
I nominate Mike Durancheck.
So noted. And Mr. Durancheck, would you accept that nomination?
I will, thank you.
Okay. Are there any other nominations from the floor? Any other nominations from the floor? With no other nominations from the floor, I would ask that a motion to close the nominations be cast and that an unanimous ballot be cast for Commissioner Durancheck as the 2019 Chairman of the Board. Would someone so move?
So move.
Support? We'll have a roll call on that motion, please. We'll start with Commissioner Durancheck.
Yes.
Krieger?
Yes.
Big Ick?
Yes.
Coonan?
Yes.
Herrick?
Yes.
Ryder?
Yes.
And Lutz?
Yes.
Congratulations, motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
The election of a vice chairman is our second order of business. Nominations are now in order for the vice chairman of the board. Are there nominations from the floor at this time? Gentlemen?
Go ahead.
I would like to nominate Mike Lutz.
Mike Lutz has been nominated. Mike, willing to accept that nomination as vice chair?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are there any other nominations from the floor? Any other nominations from the floor? Seeing none, I would ask that a motion to close the nominations be cast and that a unanimous ballot be submitted for Commissioner Lutz as the 2019 Vice Chairman of the Board. Would someone so move?
Support.
Moved by Herrick, supported by Durancheck. And can we have a roll call vote on that as well? Commissioner Krieger?
Yes.
Big Ick?
Yes.
Coonan?
Yes.
Herrick?
Yes.
Ryder?
Yes.
Lutz?
Yes.
And Durancheck.
Yes.
7 yeas, motion carries. And finally, my last order of business will be to select the Sergeant at Arms for the 2019 year. Nominations are in order. Are there nominations from the floor? Commissioner Herrick.
I nominate Vaughn Begic.
Vaughn Begic has been nominated. You, sir, would you accept that nomination?
Yes.
Any other nominations from the floor? Any other nominations from the floor? Seeing no other nominations from the floor, I would ask that a unanimous ballot be cast for Commissioner Big Ick as the 2000. Thank you. And a roll call on that as well. Commissioner Big Ick.
Yes.
Coonan.
Yes.
Herrick.
Yes.
Ryder.
Yes.
Lutz.
Yes.
Durancheck.
Yes.
And Krieger.
Yes.
7 yeas, 0 nays. My business as temporary chair has been concluded. I would now welcome Commissioner Durancheck to the podium to conduct the rest of the meeting. Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda, the organizational meeting is citizens input. Anyone have anything to say? Now's the time to come forth. Hearing none, petitions and communications. I think we had any. Did you, Mr. Executive?
I don't have any other than to express myself thanking all of the board members for the past 2 years of progress we've made in Bay County, and thank each commissioner for their dedicated service to Bay County, but also want to take the opportunity to thank Commissioner Herrick on an outstanding job as the chairman the past 2 years, and Commissioner Durancheck for his vice chairmanship, and of course Commissioner Vaughn Begic, who this group is known to get rowdy at times, and it's a tough job being the sergeant at arms, but Vaughn, we want to thank you for fulfilling that role for us, and congratulate you again on, on your ascension to leadership, especially as a member of the minority party here on the board. But thank all of you. I can't thank you enough for what all the progress we've made the 2 years that I've been county executive, first half of my term. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Barsha. Any other citizen input? New business. Under new business, I would like to have Tom Herrick come to the front, please.
As a plaque of our appreciation for your hard work at the last 2 years. Gallon. You don't hit that gallon, this gallon, half a gallon. For outstanding leadership as our chairman for the past 2 years. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All I know is, most people have been here before me, and everybody who has been here before me that's watching, this is a really unique experience. The whole commission is a unique experience. I know there's a lot of people who work hard between the commission and the staff at the county building. People have no idea what really goes on and how hard people work that we're all involved with on an everyday basis, and the fires that I put out every day. It's truly a blessing that we have what we have here. We're very lucky to be coming.
We're lucky to have you still on.
Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, Chairman Emeritus, could you get a pose for a picture with the plaque, and then we'll make sure that gets on the county website. Okay? Transition to power here.
All right, looks good.
All right. Thank you.
Any miscellaneous announcements? I have one announcement. Tom Herrick will be the committee chairperson for Ways and Means, and he will hold the Ways and Means Committee meeting that's going to follow this meeting. And the vice chair for that Ways and Means is going to be Mike Lutz. The rest of the appointments will be, by this week, should have them out to the commissioners and for staff and so that they know who's on what. Another announcement, things that are kind of a top priority for me to move forward and keep doing the best we can: public safety, public health, veterans affairs, senior citizen, and our best practices that we've been very fortunate with at Animal Control. As of last month, we're officially no kill. So that's a good thing. But we need to work along promoting our animal control and adoption of our pets, and that a little bit better than what we have. And now with the proposed new person coming on, hopefully, we found funding to take care of that. So we're hoping we can move that forward and go on from there. Any other announcements anyone else has? Motion to adjourn is always in order.
Support.
You're making the motion, Ernie?
I support it.
We have motion and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Meeting of the Ways and Means Committee on January 2nd, 2019. Could you please take the roll? Here. Here.
Yes.
Yes.
Here.
Here. Here.
First on the agenda is approval of minutes of 12/4/18.
Motion approved is presented.
Support.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up, public input. If anyone from the public would like to come forward and speak, now would be a perfect time. Nobody's rushing up right now, which is okay. Hard to believe. Everybody's still got January 1st in them. So next on the agenda, petitions and communications. Under A, Sheriff Pinconning Schools Resource Officer Agreement.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, Friend of the Court, fiscal year 2019 Federal Visitation and Access Grant for Bay County Friend of the Court.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Under C, Director of Administrative Services, Animal Control Outreach Specialist, Independent Contractor.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion. Commissioner Coonan.
Yeah, I see here in the background information, contributions from private sources and promotional revenue. So I support it, but I'd still like next Tuesday to know how much revenue was in those line items in 2018, so we can make sure that, we've got adequate revenue for that.
Mr.
Yeah,
Barsha.
it will be a 12-year contract, so we'll see how it goes and see if it should be continued beyond that, or as some of the commissioners have talked to, possibly a full-time manager at some point in the future. But I do want to thank the board and thank Commissioner Coonan for supporting this. I think it will really help make sure we maintain our status as no-kill into the future, because it requires a lot of work. And notice we hadn't had a posting since December 7th on the county website, so we need to just keep on promoting to keep that going. And yesterday I was in Lansing and spoke with the director of the Corrections Department. They have an animal companion animal program in the Corrections Department, and they'll, for example, the Saginaw Correctional Facility has been taking dogs from Saginaw Animal Control and making companion animals out of them. They train inmates how to train the dogs. It's a 90-day program, and at the completion of the program, the animal becomes a designated companion animal sold by the state for $30,000. So this is a way for the inmates to sort of pay back the taxpayers a little bit toward the cost of their incarceration. But also the animals that get accepted into the program are very well behaved, and they're going to be placed in homes where they're truly needed and appreciated and loved. So that's another area we need to, I think, explore in the next several months. And then in addition, I sat next to the new Director of Agriculture, a former state rep I served with from Rudyard, and he ran for Congress here, in the Bar-Stupak seat, but Gary's going to be a great director, and I did tell him that we would like, Bay County would like a little more attention on the grant money that the Department of Agriculture disperses to animal control shelters, or animal shelters around the state. I point out, I think last year Genesee got around $250,000, and I think Saginaw got around $100,000, even Little Aranac got $25,000, but it will all help, and it will, hopefully we'll set up a meeting with the new director as well to explain our needs, how we just need a little extra to get us through into the next year and the years ahead. So I want to thank the board if you approve it in advance. I think it will really enhance our efforts at animal control, our shelter, getting the word out, having a social media presence, and also focusing on adoption events on weekends and other occasions when we haven't been represented because we can't pay overtime.
So, Jan, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do have those revenue line items. The promotional revenue in 2018 was $15,360. This is as of November. We didn't have the December. December's not closed yet. And the contribution private sources was $7,889.
Okay,
So,
now,
and what was budgeted for the private sources was $2,000, so we have a $6,000 swing there. And the promotional revenue was budgeted at $0.
so that was raised this in 2018?
In 2018, correct. In 2017, we had nothing in promotional revenue, and we had $3,000 in the contribution private sources, so.
How does that go? How do you go from 3,017 to 25 and 18? How does that happen?
It's the promotional revenue is the new program that they're running. So the way that they're setting up the adoptions, the money that is actually being paid up front is now going into that promotional revenue account. So it's just a different way that, different promotion or the way they've set up the collection process of that.
So it's new revenue, obviously from 2017 when there was 3,000 and it's additional revenue.
Correct. But when the budget went through, they carried through in a sense, a status quo budget and didn't adjust for the new funds that were coming in.
Sitting there for 12 years.
That's in addition to this. The 21,000, there's a reserve account that's actually for spayed and neutered activities, and that is still in a reserve account that's separate from this.
And Commissioner Conan, that fund's been there for about 12 years. And I think the cost to the county general fund will just be the interest that's been generated on that fund. So
That can be used.
yeah,
On the
in fact,
21,000.
it's statutorily designated for media relations, public information relative to spaying, neutering, and adoption.
Okay, so after this particular year where it's funded for $25,000, do we project 2020 to have the same amount of dollars in there for 2020? That's where I'm getting at.
At the end of the year, it's stated that we would reassess it at that time. So in the budget process next year, we'll take a look at how.
Yeah, there's no guarantees that we're going to raise that kind of money this year.
Correct. Correct. But we will watch it throughout.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Commissioner Krieger.
So, thank you. If we could, maybe every quarter, you guys could come back and give us an update of how we're doing and how things are going, instead of having to have it all piled on us in November, December. It'd be a better handle for us, I think, to get a quarterly. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
if you'd like, Commissioner Krieger, we could have whoever gets hired, we could have them come and give an update to the board, and we'll see how it goes, 12 months, and it doesn't,
Yep.
if we don't get the results we're looking for, it doesn't need to be continued. If it's an amazing success, we'll try to identify funding, but we might be able to even secure that from state grants that are available.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. Seeing no more discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, under D, the Personnel Director, tuition reimbursements. Motion to receive is in order.
So moved.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The E, 911 Director, the Dedicated Mobile Private Network Contract.
So moved.
Discussion. Seeing,
I have a
Commissioner
question
Durant.
for Chris. I've been asked by a couple of people out in my district about the 911. How secure is that software on that, at 911?
Which piece, I guess?
Pardon me?
Which piece of software, I guess?
The, when you dial in,
Oh, the Smart 911?
Smart 911, yeah.
It's secure. Nothing is infallible, of course, but to date, that software has never been hacked. I'm sure they deal with attacks like we do every day, thousands and thousands. But to date, that company hasn't been hacked, and they meet all the criteria, federal standards, above and beyond.
The question that was kind of put to me was, now with the electronic door locks on their doors and stuff like that, there's, no keys and stuff.
Yeah.
Is it secure enough that they could put that information on Smart 911?
It is, actually.
Okay.
They can. There's a space specifically for the information. If they want to put additional information, keyless entry, things like that.
Okay.
For sure.
All right, so
Yeah.
that's secure, we don't...
It's
they can
safe
do
and
the rest
secure as
can be.
As can be, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion? Perfect, thank you. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, under F, the Health Officer, the Accreditation Readiness Grant.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Well, I was going to ask, I don't think
Commissioner
anybody's here
Coonan.
from the health department.
She's back there.
Chief's coming.
Oh, hey Melissa, how are you?
Yes.
That's the 5,000.
That, the accreditation readiness grant, we can apply up to $10,000
Okay.
to help with our quality improvement and accreditation.
So is that used to prepare for the accreditation?
Yes, because there is a quality improvement performance section of accreditation, which we just completed, and we did very well. And we tend to go in 3-year cycles. So we're getting ready to end the current cycle for our quality improvement process and performance management, and then, and usually when we do that,
Now, does that money go towards wages of somebody doing the work, or what do you use that money for?
we use the money to consult with somebody who has expertise in bringing, and how to help us go through the process. Because what we found, we've done this twice before, is bringing in an outsider who specializes in performance management and quality improvement, and it helps us kind of get our team. We only need them for the first 6 months or so to start with some meetings, and we look at our strategic plan, kind of figure out what our goals and objectives are, and then we're kind of left off on our own. So
And you'll use that 10,000?
yes, for a consultant to
For a
help us kind
consultant.
of refocus the next few years, then get us ready for the next cycle.
I didn't know if you were doing it in-house, because it didn't say one way or another, if it was being done in-house.
Oh, yeah, no, this would be, it's great that they have this great opportunity that we can apply to try to, pay.
Okay, I was just
pay
kind
for
of
it,
curious.
so.
I didn't know if that money was being used by somebody in-house who was going to do it, or that it sounds as though you're going
Yeah.
to go outside to have somebody give you some...
Which, and it's nice for the staff, and we develop our, we have what's our FAB team right now, is what we call our strategic planning team. And so it's kind of nice to have an outside view and someone who specializes in that to kind of keep us, on task and help our development and then go from there, so.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
Seeing no more discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 2, the additional master services agreement.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 3, the Public Health Emergency Preparedness Mini Grant.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Under payables, general and for Center Ridge Arms.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. From the Finance Officer, the analysis of general fund equity for 2018.
Move to
Motion to
receive.
receive. Support. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Under 2, the Executive Directive Number 2007-11. Motion to receive.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And under number 3, the cell phone contract for the Sheriff's Office.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Are there any referrals? Unfinished business? New business? Closed session? Miscellaneous? Commissioner Krieger.
Thank you. Something new I'd like to incorporate, we own some real estate, and one in particular is the farmer's market. And I'd like to see us, maybe we talked about quarterly getting an update on how we're doing with animal control. I'd like us to have some feedback on how we're doing with these different entities as far as their rent that they're paying. Are they behind? Are they forward, be it the fairgrounds or the marketplace? And if we could get that information quarterly, that I think would help an awful lot, and maybe some directions that we may or may not go dealing with, let's say, the marketplace.
Yeah, I know Kristen Jignack did prepare, or finance, I believe. Someone in finance, Jan, overstepping, I'm sorry. But Chris and I had talked about some of the figures on the county market and the restaurant, but you might want to speak to that, and I think the board has a reasonable request in terms of knowing where we're at with our rents that are collected by county-owned properties.
And I know our market, I mean, currently we're working with the vendor because she was getting a little confused as to what the invoice was versus what a statement was, and so she was going back and forth with that. But again, sometimes payments are better than others, so yes, we can supply a quarterly update.
That'd be
and let
wonderful.
you know where we're at.
Appreciate that, thank you.
Commissioner Begic. Had a chance at a meeting today to talk to Carice Basmajian, and I'm sure if she's chair or president of the city commission, I can't remember what the title is, but about the bridge issue. Her goal is to have it resolved by the end of the year, or some guidance on it. There's a new administration, so one of my suggestions was when we start talking to the new people in Lansing to see if they might be able to help us out with some new leadership down there, so that was my suggestion.
Yeah, if I could respond. Yesterday, I did talk to Governor Whitmer, and she is aware of our, needs here in Bay County with Bay City, our county seat being split by the Saginaw River. So I did indicate to her if there are any Transportation Commission or advisory meetings that any of us could, be selected for, we'd appreciate that, because Bay City has challenges that a lot of other cities across the state don't have. And I know that based on comments from Senator Shirkey this morning, he doesn't think there will be sentiment for a gas tax increase, but possibly a bond proposal. And I think if they went the bond route, as Governor Engler did in the 1990s, fair amount of revenue could be generated. Whether we could get 60 million one and Honorable Commission members, when I talk to the city, I try to indicate to them, keep it as affordable as possible. And whether it's a new bridge or whether it's repairing the Independence Bridge, we need to keep in mind that the taxes that Bay County residents pay is quite high, especially in the city. And, we really need to, I think, and I talked with Commissioner Brent Brunner, have a meeting with our federal delegation and our state delegation, because, it would seem to me that the state and the federal government ought to participate in the cost of either replacing Independence Bridge and whatever the future of Liberty Bridge is. That'll be decided by the city. Ultimately, they may have to they have to make the decision. It's their asset, how they want to proceed. If Dana is indicating, or another commissioner is indicating, by the end of this year, that gives us sufficient amount of time, I think, to have a series of meetings and see what role the federal government can play, what role the state can play. For example, the recent repairs last year, supposed to start in January, and I think Commissioner Coonan ended up, I think, sometime around St. Patrick's Day, but I think it still wasn't open last year. But that was $1.45 million in repairs for Independence, of which the city's liability was only $72,000. It was 95% federal and state funded on the repairs. So we can't exclude federal and state assistance, because if we're talking 60, 70, 80, 90 million dollars, it's a lot of debt to incur, and I know the city is looking to the county to help come up with the cost on it, the debt, to help incur the debt, either millage or unless they go the toll bridge route, which you will be asked to vote on the toll bridge concept as well. And Commissioner Krieger, I did talk to Liesl Eichler Clark, who actually started her career in Lansing on my staff in the state senate, then went to central staff, and then went with the Grand Home Administration, and in the lobbying field now has a small lobbying office for some progressive environmental issues, but she is the new DEQ director.
Oh,
so I did tell her that we want to see her up here and take a look at the state park, and also the condition of our shoreline, the Pinconning Park, and in general our Phragmites challenges, and just sort of give her, if she could give us a day up here, we'd take her around the county and show her.
I'll take her on a road trip.
Yeah, well, I'll be looking to you and Commissioner Coonan and Durancheck to help, help with that. All of you put that together. But she's a very reasonable person, and
good.
I think she'll be, she's originally from Pigeon. Her dad, Ed Eichler, owned the Pigeon Telephone Company, so she hails from Huron County, is very familiar with Bay County and our challenges.
Anyone else? Commissioner Krieger.
So to continue the discussion, do you know whether or not Ron Olson is still going to oversee the DNR?
Currently, I haven't heard about Mr. Craig. Ron Olson was the Recreation Division
Correct.
Chief, and I haven't heard about Director Craig. If he will continue, I suspect not. So we might want to provide some input before our
Yes.
DNR Director
What
prior
I'm
to that
hoping is,
decision.
as time goes on, and probably in the fast lane for us at Bay County, to set some type of a tone with whoever's going to oversee the parks, because one, I've been dealing for probably 6 years with getting a dog park, so campers that come out there don't have to have their dogs on a leash, give them a place to run that's away from the kids' playscape, so that, kids and running and dogs don't always match. And then additional shoreline. I mean, at one point, Kim and I were promised 1,000 feet of frontage at the kids' playscape, and now I think it's been whittled down to 675, but now's the time to put the push on to get more shoreline for the residents of Bay County. So any help you can do in Lansing, certainly be very appreciated.
Yeah, well, we have a friend in the governor's office, so hopefully we can all
We like
weigh
friends.
in with her. And Commissioner Begic, I want you to know that, one of the centerpieces of Gretchen's campaign for governor was infrastructure, roads and bridges. So if we can get some capital infused into that, we'll make sure Bay County gets its share. And I'm glad that the new governor is continuing to maintain as a top priority. So.
Fix the darn bridges. Change that a little bit.
Great.
And different.
Just one last thing before we adjourn. I was just thinking back again. It's been. I didn't ever say. I didn't say it all I wanted to say when I was up there before, but I've been really humbled by the honor of being chairman for the last 2 years, and taking on a new role now is another honor. And like I said, the staff has been great to me. I learn a lot on the fly, as we all do. And I hope I know we'll continue with Commissioner Durancheck as chair. And once again, thank you for everyone. Thank you to the commissioners, because I learn something from everyone. We learn something every day from everybody, and it's been a great honor. Especially we have the greatest person sitting right here. She helps us all the time. Gets through the hard times. But thanks again for everything. Motion to adjourn.
It's always in order.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.